Welcome to Venture Steel, where we process steel for other manufacturers, including, but not limited to, the automotive industry. We believe we should all work safely, or not at all. We all want to go home at the end of the day. We are respectful, we treat others with the same courtesy we expect ourselves, we act with integrity, honesty, and fairness. Good people make the difference, and teamwork, that makes us stronger. We value your input to make this the safest, most productive business that we will all be proud of.
PPE, personal protective equipment. At all times inside Venture Steel facility, the following personnel protective equipment is required. Safety eyewear, hard hats, steel-toed boots that have a CSA Canadian Standards Association green triangle, hearing protection. All of our sites come in over 80 decibels. Working in this environment will cause hearing loss over time. We supply earmuffs or reusable or disposable hearing protection. Cut-resistant arm guards, cut-resistant gloves.
Introduction. To operate an overhead crane, you must be certified and have read all procedures related to the position. Inspection. Inspection sheets are located outside the plant manager's office. It is required to inspect all components at the very beginning of the shift before operating the crane, including the wire rope, upper limit switch, trolley, bridge, and hoist and travel brakes, underhook devices, remote controller pendant, and the hook block. Any deficient items are to be brought immediately to your supervisor's attention for maintenance to inspect and repair. If the crane is unsafe to operate, inform your supervisor and give them the remote. The unit will be tagged out until it can be fixed. General safety. Crane operators in training must wear a safety vest and be under the direct supervision of their trainer. Never walk under a load or travel with a load over other workers. Never use a phone or other electronic device when operating a crane. Pedestrians always have the right of way. Be prepared to stop at all times for both forklifts and pedestrians. Inspect the area to ensure that the area is clear of personnel and obstructions at all times. Material stored on the floor can and will continually change. Hazards also exist with forklifts moving in and around the area. Avoid swinging a load on the crane. Never use your body to stop the swing. Use the movement of the crane to stop a swinging load. Do not use the crane for anything for which it was not intended. Do not exceed the capacity of your crane or underhook device. Each crane operates a little differently than others. Travel speed, brakes, and capacity can all be different. Know your equipment. Horseplay is prohibited. Always operate smoothly by avoiding sudden starts or stops. Pinch points. Never allow yourself or another employee to stand between a moving load and any stationary material or equipment. If someone is spotting you, ensure they are at a safe distance with full view of the load and intended path of travel. When accessing areas that have blind or obstructed views, sound horn and stop movement until you are certain the area is clear and it is safe to proceed, or use a spotter who is also a competent crane operator. Do not hold on to the C-hook or any other attachment during crane movement. Only grasp this equipment when rotating a load, then release your hands to avoid them being pinched. Always walk behind the load, never in front or underneath, and never turn your back on a moving load. Lifting or placing down a load. The trolley and bridge must be centered over the load before beginning to lift to prevent the load from swinging. Always stand off to the side and with clear lines of vision when picking up or placing down a load. Do not shock load the crane when picking up a lift. Raise the crane in low gear until the load is lifted slightly before engaging high gear. Same applies when putting down a load. The first and last foot should be done in low gear. There are different attachments for the crane: C-hooks, eye lifter, sheet lifter, chains, and slings. Each has its own specific use. Be certain that all attachment points on your underhook device are properly positioned and secured to the load before lifting. Be certain that the load is level before travel. Raise it slightly, then stop. Check the load is level and clear of all obstructions, then proceed. A coil off level can become stuck when moving it on or off the turnstile arm. Ensure the load is level. When removing, only raise a coil high enough to create clearance between the arm and coil. Lifting too high can damage the crane or turnstiles. Always chalk coils that are on the ground to prevent accidental movement. Narrow cuts are not to be stood up unless secured to other coils. When parking your crane, raise the hoist near the top, place the trolley near the center, and move the bridge over an I-beam. Turn off the emergency stop. Do not park over top of heaters. Loading and unloading trucks. Work as a team with the driver to place the steel in the correct location on the truck. Be sure that wood bunks are long enough to support the load. Coil bay. Coils in the bottom row are to have wood bunks under them before placing a second row on top. Ends of rows are to have chains, and any holes in a row are to be filled as soon as possible to prevent accidental movement of coils. Never place heavier coils on top of lighter ones or wider coils on top of narrow ones. Follow all Venture Steel EH&S cardinal rules. We work safely or not at all. Confined space. Identify confined spaces and follow written confined space entry procedures. Electrical safety. Only authorized personnel are permitted to open and work on live panels with a proper perimeter setup. Machine guarding. Do not tamper with or disable machine or equipment guarding. Hazardous energy. Before working on machines or equipment, isolate all forms of hazardous energy. Secure them with locks and tags and then verify a zero energy state. Fall protection. Use fall protection when working at heights of 10 feet, 3 meters or higher. If you are working at heights, you must have up-to-date working at heights training.